Hey guys, it's SailorturntGamer, and we're here with the details of the Day 1 patch notes for Anthem. Now, there is no secret that with the players getting their hands on the game before the 22nd, there are some things in the game that a lot of people don't like. And hopefully, most of these things can be addressed Day 1. Check the description box for a link to the direct information we're discussing in the video if you want to view the notes yourself. If you are new to the channel, we are an up-and-coming content creator, and we focus on creating educational videos for Anthem and a free-to-play action RPG named Dauntless. We also stream at twitch.tv/SailorturntGamer, link in the description box below if you ever want to catch us live. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like and a share, and join the fleet by hitting that sub button. Enough about that, let's get into today's video. So we have several things to talk about, and we're going to start with the high-level fixes. So as we look at the high-level fixes, they will be fixing the loading times. Those will be vastly improved on Day 1. They have fixed many infinite loading screens, so that's a plus. They fixed multiple challenges not tracking properly. They fixed a number of issues that have been fixed that were causing players to disconnect or crash, and weapons and gear now have numbers present for modifiers. So they have tons of general fixes and improvements, like loot reveals and expedition summaries now correctly played during the end of expedition screens. The gather party mechanics have been made more lenient in the number of situations. At the end of expedition screens, players will no longer get stuck on recording victories or skipping all. The game no longer hangs in Javelin menu when unlocking the second, third, or fourth Javelin. During the mission what freelancers do, dying after killing Junkmaw and freeing Arcanus leaves you unable to progress. That is now fixed. Well, as of Day 1 it will be fixed. Challenges now unlocked for players at the correct levels. They fixed some camera issues during cutscenes. Legendary contracts can now be accepted from the Social Hub contract board. Some enemies have their shields decreased. Loot now properly drops from players who are down. The texture quality on the NPC Prospero has been improved. No more of those eye bugs. The final boss of Strongholds now drop loot instead of being shown at the end of the expedition screen, which is a lot more satisfying in itself when defeating a Stronghold boss after 15 to 20 minutes or however long it takes you. You get the satisfactory feeling of seeing loot just fall. They fixed the timeouts on echoes and relics to prevent griefing and to handle disconnects properly. Players can no longer fall through the floor during the third trial in the Fortress of Dawn. Completing the tutorial expedition will now show the correct ranger appearance. After disconnecting, rejoining an expedition will now place you back into a squad if you were in one previously. They corrected an issue where players could not interact with each other in the launch bay in certain circumstances. They corrected an issue during the mission Bad Deal where outlaws won't spawn, blocking progress. The start of the expedition screen have been improved. They addressed a variety of situations where killing enemies does not properly progress world events. Opening a chest now increments Tomb of the Legionnaire's progress for all squad members present, which changes a significant mission in the game. Those of you that have played so far understand what mission that is. The Tomb of the Legionnaires is, it's killer. Scar snipers can no longer shoot through storm shields. Corrected an issue where players will get stuck in the end of expedition screens in some situations. Players will no longer get disconnected if joining the Finding Old Friends mission while the cinematic is playing. They addressed a number of situations where players can get stuck on environment in the launch bay. They increased the damage of electric status effects, which is fantastic. I'm a ranger man and I loved using my melee. They corrected an issue where the Shield of Dawn could be crafted with less materials than intended in some situations. The Platinum mission feature now grants completion as intended. Status effects can more reliably be used to work on Titans, which is awesome because you really don't get any status effects on Titans, and it's nice that on Day 1 you can expect some leniency when it comes to doing that. A lot of these changes that will be in effect in Day 1 will change the game significantly from the state that it's in now, and I look forward to continuing to play Anthem throughout the entire year, and hopefully this can help change some people's minds about how they feel about the game. I know there's a lot of problems, but the game will get better with time if you're willing to give it that chance. And let's move on to gear and weapons. So some of the gear and weapon changes that they have is after the first pilot unlocks suits after tutorials, creating a new pilot and going to the forge no longer causes low screens hangs. Ice damage bonuses are now correctly applied on ice gear. Suit-wide bonuses from inscriptions are now functioning properly. Players can no longer salvage equipped items. Javelin-specific gear and or weapons are no longer able to be used on javelins that they aren't intended for. They corrected an issue where in some circumstances masterwork components do not have any inscriptions. The Endless Siege Masterwork autocannon no longer displays a damage increase of 0% in its tooltip, which is really, really nice to see. Here on SailorturntGamer, we cover patch notes for Dauntless, and we will continue to cover any and all patch notes for Anthem as well. So if that's something you enjoy, be sure to stay here on this channel. Hit us with a sub. We're moving on to Strongholds. Strongholds, they fixed an issue that will cause a Stronghold server crash after defeating the last boss. The Temple of Scar, players can no longer get stuck in the mine tunnel in the explosives room, and then also players can no longer be blocked from entering the explosives room due to the fog wall, which happened to me and it sucks. They fixed a fixed tire mine so people that join the Stronghold in progress do not end up locked away from their team. They adjusted lightning in the Tyrant Mine underwater section to make it easier to navigate to the exit. The Swarm Tyrant will no longer get stuck in the side cave entrances in some instances. They corrected an issue where players would spawn in different areas of the Tyrant Mine in certain situations. And then we have another fantastic section, which is a section all about Javelins. Ready to see what they make some changes here. The Colossus Javelin is now able to activate its shield more quickly after using an ability or firing a weapon. The Storm Javelin now reacts to getting hit when its shields are up. They fixed an exploit that allowed the Storm's ultimate attack to be used more times than intended. The Colossus Javelin can now shield and revive enemies at the same time, and the Interceptor combo aura has been increased in power and now has damage over time component, which is awesome to see some of those changes. I know there's going to be changes in the day one patch that people want to see immediately, and they probably haven't got to it yet, but I believe that they want the best for this game, and that whatever changes that are out there, because there are more problems that exist than the ones that we are going to cover today, when those changes happen, we will cover them here, because I know they want the best for this game. I do like the fact that there are a lot of Colossus improvements. So if you are a thick boy fanboy, then there you go. That much stronger, that much better. Or he is now going to be played as intended. So we have a couple of crafting and control changes as well on day one. You have for the crafting, non-masterwork materials purchased from the crafting store now show as their proper rarity instead of incorrectly showing as masterwork. Additional mouse and keyboard control improvements across the board have been made. So if you're a mouse and keyboard user, then there you go. Hopefully there is something that you like, and hopefully there's something that actually feels better. If it doesn't, I'm sure they're going to make changes and make that for the best. And we have tons of UI changes as well. And to wrap this all up, here are some of our UI changes. Some conversations that were not popping up in the reputation points. Post-conversation completion, that's going to be fixed on day one. The squad screen now displays the correct information for each player. They fixed a number of issues where subtitles will no longer get stuck on the screen after dialogue has been finished as often. Settings should no longer reset upon exiting and restarting the game on your Xbox. Motion blur has now been correctly turned off. The electric status effect shows scale damage properly. An option has been added to hide the squad member HUD. The edge of the compass will now pulse to indicate enemy locations. A nice little change for that. I really, really appreciate that. A notification has been added in Fort Tarsus if a player's vault is at the cap of 250. And on the repair the strider step of a cry for help, the search radar has been adjusted to correctly lead the player to all 4 tools. And primer and detonator icons have been added to all interceptor gear. And then they corrected an issue where a player's ultimate will show as available when it isn't, which I am a victim of that all the time. For the past couple of days, I've been seeing that to where it tells me that I have my ultimate, and I'm like, oh, I can't use my ultimate, and I get into some sticky situations. You do not want that to happen when you're in those GM grinds. But those are all of our day one fixes and changes that we can expect as soon as the 22nd. I am excited because they're making the game better. These are plans that they already had in motion, but what is going to be really, really exciting is to see what they're working on next. They are very open when it comes to talking about the things that they want to do for the game, and I expect this game to be something that grows over time, but the bones are there. It's a great game, in my opinion, even with its flaws. I still have fun playing the game. Those of you that made it this far into the video, I appreciate you being here. And again, be sure to give the video a like and a share. It helps us grow, and it helps us get to where we need to be. I appreciate you guys for being here, and until then, you guys can catch the sailor out in the open ocean. Peace.